This is King Eju, the king of Mani people, the spiritual leader of Ambazonia, the Pan-African king. And today my topic is going to be about Africa and Pan-Africanism and why Africa is now moving forward. And this is also interconnected to Ambazonia, to the Republic of Cameroon, to West Africa and to Central Africa and to Africa in general. The government clears US to establish military base in Ghana. That's my number one topic I will be talking about. And South Africa will face embargoes and sanctions from the UK, Europe, and US if land is expropriated without compensation. Now, why would the president of Ghana and the Ghanaian people decide to allow a military base in Ghana? A military base in Ghana is not just a US military base in Ghana is not just a military base in Ghana. It's a military base in West Africa and Africa in general. As a matter of fact, US has over 50 bases in Africa. Why is it that we allow US and other countries to put their military base in our continent, and we Africans do not have military bases in Asia, in Europe, in America, or in any other country? Why do we have to accept military bases in our continent and we don't have military bases in other country? Yes, of course, our military is not strong enough, and it's not because we don't have the ability to make it strong, but it's the fact that we don't have the leadership to make the military of Africa strong. Because if you look at Africa has been divided for the interests of the European powers, and colonization is still finding its way back in Africa one way or the other. Africa cannot rise without the assistance of the West or the East. We have brains. We are human beings like any other people in the world. Why can't we think for ourselves as Africans for the interests of the African people? The foundation has been laid down. Before colonization, we had great empires in Africa, and Ghana was one of those great empires in the West African Empire. Look at Africa today. It's just cut off for the interests of the West, and we always have to bow down to the West. We always have to accept what they say and do. Their religion control us, control our mindset, control the way we think. Our leaders cannot put a concrete plan that could reshape Africa forward. But this foundation has been laid down. Nobody is willing to look at it. No Africans willing to take. Those who have even tried, guess what happened? They got killed. They got whacked by the same people we allow to have a military base in our continent. A military base in Ghana is not just a military base in Ghana. It's a military base in West Africa. It's a military base in Africa, overseeing what we Africans are doing. They have their interest in Africa because Africa has the resources. Why This US have to police the entire world. And we Africans cannot do anything about that. Our people we cannot think and do, we cannot make our own continent great. We must depend on the West or the East. Colonization, recolonization, how you look, the way it's all interconnected, it's coming back. The Ghanaian president made a beautiful speech about the future of Africa. But look at what he's doing. Is this the future of Africa? Are we not only still relying on the West to move forward? How is he going to create better health system as he promised in his beautiful speech that he gave to the president of the new president of France? This beautiful speech that he spoke so eloquently. I was so moved by it, and then look at the action that he's taking. Allowing a military base inside Ghana is allowing a military base inside Africa, and there are so many military bases in Africa owned by US. And why can't we think? We're more than 1.2 million people. Yet we cannot find a way to come together. But we allow others from outside to come and tell us what we must do. And you think this is a partnership? You think Ghana is going to benefit from this partnership? Ghana will, okay, maybe Ghana, some of the leaders in Ghana will benefit from this relationship because of the incentive they're going to get. But Ghanaian citizens will not benefit, and especially Africans will not benefit. Will not. Because in order for us, Africa, to grow, we must do what is necessary for us, by us, not by outsiders. And this same thing is connected to what is happening in South Africa. It's connected to what happened in Africa in general when the Western world came into Africa, colonized Africa, and they have not paid any reparations to their colonization, to their slaughter of Africans. Yet, the damn Prime Minister of UK had the audacity, the guts, to threaten the president of South Africa. Facing embargo is a threat. Taking action to make sure that the white South Africans get compensation. But let me ask you, black people, black South Africans, you were colonized by Britain. Did you get any reparations? Your land were taken by whites who came in. Did you get any reparations? No, you didn't. Yet they want the president of South Africa to give reparations to the white farmers when they came and stole the land in Africa and slaughtered and killed so many Africans. Did you see the double standard? For them, they have to do what is good for their own people. But our own African leaders cannot learn from whites, because whites do not share power. They don't. They will find every means, any method to control South Africa, UK, Europe, and US. Made this statement, this embargo, or this to sanction South Africa. Why? That's a threat. They're saying the president of South Africa is their bitch. If you do this, this is what we're gonna do. So you must do what we tell you. They don't share power. Whites do not share power with blacks. They don't see us as human beings all over the world. They don't see us as human beings. History has proven that. But some blacks don't seem to want to understand, to learn. They always think that, oh, the white man was the best. We can create what is in Europe or in United States or all over the world in the land of Africa, because we have the resources and they need the resources, and they have done whatever is necessary to control us through religion. Some of you Christians, African Christians, think that, oh, your forefathers, when they were praying to their gods, their gods is not good enough because you want but the white man's God, the Christian God. Christianity is good. Well, black Christianity is anti-black. Christianity is anti-black. It's not even black. It's not even about black. Christianity is anti-black. Period. We need African spirituality. We need to be able to believe in ourselves. As a matter of fact, I say this. The president of Ghana is suffering from inferiority complex because as a president, he believes so much in Christianity and he's willing to allow whites to come into Africa, to put their military base in Africa, to learn the secrets and whatnot that is in Africa, and then they will take and use for their own benefit. You are destroying the future of Africa, you African leaders. You are destroying the future of Africa because you're not making Africa great. But whites are making their country great at the expense of us, using our resources. Look at France. France has 14 nations in Africa. That 14 nation, you are a bitch. You are a bitch to France. Cameroon is one of that bitch. And there are 14 of those. They answer to France. When are we going to build our own power? Because the black power you've seen in Black Panther does not exist in Africa, does not exist in this world. It must be created globally, because blacks all over the world are suffering, and the leaders of Africa, including Ghana, does not see that. Ghana cannot rise on its own. In order for Ghana to rise, the entire Africa must rise. And the way forward is not a one government of entire Africa, because Africa is too big to be governed, by one government system. It's too big. But how did the Ghana Empire did it? How did they govern the entire West Africa? The foundation has been there. We have West African region, East African region, Southern African region, which South Africa is part of, and the Northern African region. And in Northern African region, what's happening? Blacks are being used as slaves and being killed daily inside Africa, because some think they're Arabs, but you're in Africa. The land you're in is Africa. You're not, though you have an Arab ancestor, but you're part of Africa. So to build Africa stronger, and more, have a more economy, a more powerful economy, we have to bring those countries in the northern zone together and work in a soft federation, create a currency. And the leaders of those countries have to work together. Like, for example, what's happening inside Ghana. Enough for the Ghanaian president to make this decision. He shouldn't have made this decision by himself or with just the people of Ghana, because having the military inside Ghana affects West Africa and Africa in role. So, enough for him to make this decision. If Africa was united and was working together, understanding, respecting the fact that we have different countries, but we are working together because we have a common goal. For Africa to survive, for the people of Africa to survive, Africa must work together. That's what Europe is doing. The United States is 50 countries put together, working as one. 50 countries put together working as one. Some states are smaller, yeah, but it's 50 countries put together working as one. We have 54 countries. Africa is too big when it comes to land mass to be governed by one government. So, Northern African region form a self-federation. Southern African region, self-federation, having a similar currency. East African, same thing, West African, Central African. Because we need a grouping system. The way Africa has been divided by the West will not lead to our survival but to our demise. And whenever they need something, whenever the West or the East needs something, they come to Africa. And now, how is this related to what is happening in Amazonia and in La République du Cameroon? Well, La République du Cameroon was colonized by France, and Amazonia or Southern Cameroon was colonized by Britain or UK. And what happened? What's happening in South Africa? How is that connected? They're using their power to control the president of South Africa so that he will not give the land reparation, he won't give the land back to the Africans without compensation. But Africans who went through slavery and colonization never received any reparations. Why should we give them compensation? The land was ours in the first place. The land in Africa was ours in the first place. They came and took it and killed so many Africans. Why should we? Why do they think they are too smart than Africans? Or just because they are powerful, they want to use their power to subjugate, to control. It's all about power. And for Africa to rise, we will need to create our own power system and connect it to all the black nations outside of Africa, because we do have black nations outside of Africa. We can't survive only by ourselves, Africans. We must do that connected with other blacks all over the world. It has to be a global thing. But our leaders don't want to do the work, and they're too selfish, too greedy, and the people of Africa, the future will pay for it. Will pay for it. The president of Ghana, I thought he, you know, there was some hope, but damn, this action and its future action will only destroy Africa. He's not a good president. Now, and for Amazonia to rise, we must take action on our own. We cannot depend on the Western world or on other Africans, because, as you've seen, everybody's working for themselves. That's the way the world works, my brothers. This is King H. Subscribe to my channel. Share my videos. Till next time.